Welcome back to another episode of Dreaming Out Loud. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at some PAL Dreamcast games. These are all the PAL games in my collection. I don't have a huge amount of European Dreamcast games. These are mostly exclusives. Eventually, I do want to collect all of the PAL exclusive games, but for now, I have a good majority of them. I mean, there aren't that many PAL exclusive games, but I have a lot of the really good ones so far. But I believe only one of these games is not exclusive to PAL territories, and I got it actually by accident, but it's in my collection nonetheless. But anyway, let's go through these. I'm actually going to start off with a couple demo discs. These are the Dream On demo discs that were actually given to me by Tom Charnock of the Dreamcast Junkyard, or Tom Lisi. He was very nice enough to send these to me. I believe he included these in a package with something else, and I forget what it was. But if you're watching, Tom, thank you again for these. But what's cool about these is they have the Toy Commander special demos, which are the summer demo and the Christmas demo. I forget which disc that's on, but it is on one of these. Actually, it says right here. 3 special stages of Toy Commander, including Christmas Mission and... Actually, this one's Christmas and Grand Prix? I don't remember what that one was, but maybe that is the summer one? I'm not sure. But regardless, yeah, it's cool to have those. I wanted those to try those out for quite a while until he sent me these, and I finally got to try them out. But yeah, a whole bunch of different demos on these. These cases actually include 2 demo discs each. I believe the other ones must be missing the cases. But yeah, we got Sydney 2000, Space Channel 5, Wacky Races, and Army Men Surge's Heroes, Speed Devils Online Racing, which is kind of a weird one to have a demo of, considering the online mode is not accessible in this demo. So why not just include a demo of the standard Speed Devils? I don't know, it's kind of strange. But Super Runabout, Looney Tunes Space Race, some pretty good demos on these. But yeah, these are my Dream On demo discs. Moving on to the full-size games, we have Planet Ring, which is an exclusive online-only game for Europe. Very odd saying online-only for a console of this generation, but yes, the Dreamcast had an online-only game. Actually, I think it had several. In Japan, there was a collection of, 5 visual novel online games. I forget what they're called, but one of them is actually the rarest game on the Dreamcast. I think Episode 5 or something like that. But yeah, that was an online-only game as well, if you want to call a visual novel an online game. A game, I should say. But Planet Ring is a very unique compilation of mini-games. The games themselves are so unique, except for Splash. Splash is just kind of a Battleship clone. But other than that, all of the games, I don't think I can compare them to any other games that have ever been released. You have Ball Bubble, which is a land manipulation game where you try and basically have the land slope off your corner. There are 4 corners of this square, and you have to have the balls that fall from the sky roll off your corner of the map. It's just really hard to describe unless you see it, but that's a really cool and fun and unique game. You also have Soar, which is the most unique racing game I've ever played. Basically, you're in these, hover vehicles with these rudders in the back that spurt out air, and you steer with the rudder. It's just really weird and hard to describe, like a lot of the games on this compilation, if that's what you want to call it. But another one is Dream Dorobo, which is probably the best game in this collection. In fact, Dream Dorobo was originally supposed to be its own game, but these other mini-games kind of were added on later, and we ended up with Planet Ring. But Dream Dorobo really takes advantage of the voice chat that's in this game and allows you to guide another player around a maze to grab bags of money and bring them back to a truck. What's cool is the one player sees the overhead view of the maze, and the other player can only see a very limited area around them. It's like a flashlight is shining down on top of them, and that's the limited area that you can see. It's a very, very fun and unique game, and there are tons of levels. It's probably the most robust game in Planet Ring. But yeah, this is definitely a great game if you have an online Dreamcast. This is definitely one to pick up, especially for the voice chat. Best implementation of voice chat on the Dreamcast, in my opinion. This actually has real-time voice chat like you're talking on a phone, whereas Alien Front Online, in comparison, it sends 3 or 5 second voice clips, I forget the exact length, after holding down the button, and you can't talk. Two people can't talk at the same time, which you can actually do in this. So best implementation of voice chat on the Dreamcast as well. So next up is a game I actually haven't played. This is actually another one that was sent to me by Tom Charnock. This is Sega Worldwide Soccer 2000. I think he actually sent it with these other demo discs as well. This is an exclusive to PAL territories. It is a soccer game, as you might imagine. There's the back of the case. You might be able to see the screenshots there. I have no idea if this game is any good. To be honest, I haven't actually played it yet. It just kind of sat on the shelf. I'm not big into soccer or football games, as you might call it in Europe. But yeah, it's Sega Worldwide Soccer 2000, a PAL exclusive. Next up is my favorite PAL exclusive Dreamcast game, and that is Headhunter. So Headhunter is, I guess the best way to describe it would be a open world Metal Gear Solid. It's a really, really good game. If you like Metal Gear Solid, if you like stealthy third-person shooters, this is definitely one to check out. In my opinion, it is the best of the PAL exclusive Dreamcast games, and I'm not counting Shenmue 2, because Shenmue 2 came out in Japan. This only came out in Europe, so that's what I mean by PAL exclusive. But yeah, this is a great game, highly, highly recommended. Some of the best graphics on the Dreamcast as well. This also came out on PS2, but obviously the Dreamcast version is better. But yeah, I loved my playthrough of this game. I would like to do a live stream playthrough of this at some point. But yeah, it's such a fun game. Next up is another online Dreamcast game, and that is Toy Racer. Exclusive to PAL territories. Again, this is a spin-off of Toy Commander with basically just the racing aspect of the game and multiplayer only. So there are no CPU players in this. You can play it offline in kind of a practice mode, but the main feature of this game is the online multiplayer, which is actually quite good. Unfortunately, the track selection is a bit limited, and the tracks that are there are fairly short. And it's kind of to be expected because this game was released for charity. Basically, a lot of the proceeds of this game went to charity, and it was a budget game, so the game really didn't have a huge development budget to implement tons and tons of things. I always thought this game was kind of a precursor to what would have been Toy Commander Online, a full version of Toy Commander with online multiplayer. And unfortunately, it seems my theory was incorrect because I had actually talked to one of the developers of this game, and he debunked that and said, no, we had no plans to do a full-on online Toy Commander game. But this is a cool little preview of what an online Toy Commander game could have been, and it's definitely a fun game as is. If you have an online Dreamcast, it's definitely worth checking out. Next up, we have an RC car racing game by Team 17 called Stunt GP. This is quite a leap from the Worms games to a racing game. But yeah, Stunt GP, it's a really fun game. Not quite as good as Revolt in my opinion, but still a solid racer. It runs at 60 frames per second, which you can't say about Revolt, although Revolt will run at 60 if you put in a cheat code. With some compromises, it will remove some environmental things to speed things up and make it run at a smooth 60. But this is a no compromise 60 frame per second game. It looks great in VGA as well. Yeah, and it has stunts as well, as you might imagine by the title of the game. I'll actually show you the back here. It's kind of hard to see because the screenshots are very, very tiny. And it has a whole bunch of languages on the back, which is typical of PAL releases. But yeah, it's a fun game. It actually would have had online multiplayer had it actually done better in sales. I had talked to one of the developers of the game, and he said they actually had an online version of this game that they had planned. They even did internal testing with online multiplayer, but unfortunately the game didn't perform very well on the market, so they kind of scrapped that, which is unfortunate. It would have been great to see an online multiplayer version of this, but as an offline game, as an offline multiplayer game, it's still quite good. I believe it supports 2 players split screen, But yeah, definitely a solid racer on the Dreamcast. Definitely one to check out if you haven't already. So next up is probably the rarest game in my Dreamcast collection. I guess you could say it's the pride of my collection. But it is Monaco Grand Prix 2 Racing Online. I don't even know. It's such a long title. It is Racing Simulation 2 Online Monaco Grand Prix according to the front of the case. Or if you look at the side of the case, it says Racing Simulation 2 Monaco Grand Prix Online. So depending on which side of the case you look at, the name is different. But whatever, name aside, this is actually a great online game that was exclusive to PAL territories. We got this game, but the offline version. So we never got the online version, which is unfortunate. This actually runs on the same online system as Pod Speed Zone, which we did get. But we did not get this one, unfortunately. But it's a really fun online game, runs really smooth. It's typically not my cup of tea when it comes to like simulation racing games. They just don't interest me. But this game is actually a lot of fun to play online. I wouldn't play it offline because, again, it's just not my genre. But playing it online is a blast. I love this game. Some of the collisions in the game can be absolutely hilarious. If you've seen some of my gameplay videos of this, playing it online, you can see where I go flying sometimes when I'm hit by someone. It's pretty crazy, but it's such a fun game to play, and it's a very popular online game, surprisingly. A lot of people playing it online these days. Has a cult following, I guess you could say. But a lot of people love this game online, including myself, although I don't think I'm quite as hardcore as some others that play it almost daily these days. But definitely a fun game, and don't discount it if you don't like simulation racing games. If you have a Dreamcast that you can play online, it's definitely worth trying this out. But it is a very rare game, as I said earlier. You're lucky if you can find a copy of this for sale online. It's that rare. It's not like it's a very expensive game, because when it does pop up, it's not that expensive. Usually between 30 and 50, I'd say. But yeah, it's very hard to find. Just finding one for sale is the challenge here. If you get lucky, you'll find a seller that lists it and doesn't know it's the online version, because it's actually kind of hard to see the online title there. So a lot of people just list it as Monaco Grand Prix 2 or Racing Simulation 2 or whatever, and don't realize it's the online version, which is actually what happened to me. I bought this on Amazon, and it was listed as just the regular Monaco Grand Prix, but turns out it was the online version, which I actually emailed the seller, I think, and asked for a picture, and that's how I found out. But yeah, Racing Simulation 2, Monaco Grand Prix, whatever you want to call it, good game. And last up is the same game, except this is the offline version. So what happened with this one is I ordered one. I think this was my first attempt at grabbing this game. I ordered it thinking it was the online version, and I think it was listed as being the online version, and it turned out it was just the regular version. The seller ended up giving me a refund for it, so I got this for free. But yeah, not a whole lot to say about this because it's Monaco Grand Prix. Offline version. And that concludes this episode of Dreaming Out Loud. I hope you enjoyed this look at my PAL Dreamcast collection. It's not huge, it's modest, but some really good titles in there. At some point I do want to collect all of the PAL exclusive games. I'll probably finish off my full complete US set first. But for now, it's a really good starter to my PAL collection. But anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.